Hey, what is going on, guys? It's your boy, the Instant One on the side, Tan Tiger 01, the Bengal Dragon. Make sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter, Tan Tiger 01, Twitch at Instant1. Follow me on Instagram as well. Hit that bell notification button. Right. A, li- a short while ago, I actually uploaded a video making an announcement regarding some content on my channel. Now, here's the deal. I was sort of expecting more uh, verbal replies, and of course appreciate all the likes I got, but I was expecting something a bit more specific, so that I know exactly what issues to address. But however, in that spirit, I thought I'd get the ball rolling, and I would sincerely appreciate if all my viewers out there, all my listeners out there, could either put all your reactions in the comment section below, or share it with someone who would find this information very important. And by the way, if you must know, yes, I'm a PhD student. What is my research concerning? This is a very small sample of what my research is concerning. Okay, and like made this clear, it's basically concerning an area of academia, or a specific approach that has never been tried before, which is wow. I mean, you have no idea how flabbergasting that is. You have you have no idea. Trust me, no idea how frustrating and how infuriating that is at times, especially when you're in my position and you see what's going on and you see the deficiencies in in the overall knowledge, acquired knowledge about people like me. Infuriating does not even do justice to the emotions that arise. Anyways, there are several problems, and this is just my opinion. And I would consider it to be an educated opinion because, like I said, I'm doing research in this field. Okay, I read a lot, and no, not books, not books. Here's the thing: I don't like reading books. Do you know why I don't like reading books? Books generally are like somewhat outdated. Like when it from the time of printing to the time of publishing. This is why I read a lot of journal articles. They're a bit more contemporary. I'm not saying there's no knowledge in books. There's a lot of knowledge in books, but at one point you have to read more journal articles. You'll end up reading more journal articles and books, especially when you're doing research. Yeah, there's certain types of research that demands that you go back and look at a lot of the theoretical frameworks and how they came to be, in which case books are very important. But still, journal articles tend to be a bit more dynamic, if you will. But yeah, but they're recent, and their compilation is growing as well. Although some of the peer review process is highly questionable. Yes, I've come across those articles too. I've come across those allegations too. But sorry, I digress. But yeah, so I'm gonna talk about one of the biggest problems, one of the absolute biggest problems with how visual impairment is approached, how the solution to visual impairment and all the challenges that is posed by uh, people who are visually impaired. And this is gonna be a little vague, Like, because under this umbrella, there is a lot going on. There's a lot going on, and like that's beyond the capacity of one video. I'll need several videos, and this is why this type of content is based on your feedback. Just tell me specifically what you need me to elaborate on, and I'll do it to the best of my abilities. But one of the biggest problems with how visual impairment is seen today, or like how it is tackled today, is awareness. Folks, we just got into 2019. Till you have certain people and places where they have never seen a visually impaired person. They have never seen someone using a blind cane. It is to this level where still people think that blind people cannot use a phone. Uh, hold on, hold on. This, a phone, a phone. Blind people cannot use this. Let alone a tan blind dude over here in a hoodie in Melbourne, Florida, making a video looking straight into the camera. So the awareness issue, and believe me, this this problem, why I consider it one of the biggest, uh, is because okay. Let me just give you just one aspect of the problem of awareness. Okay, we're in 2018. No, 19. We just moved to 2019, and like you will not believe some of the questions. Even I heard like one of the dumbest questions I heard is like how do you have sex? You're blind. How do you have sex? I'm like, listen. Having sex is not as complicated as building a robot. Okay? Having sex is not as complicated as, fixing your car. Okay? Yeah. So it, the ignorance of like people, like of the abilities of people with visual impairment, it's unbelievable what happens because of this. Lack of awareness leads to lot of misconceptions and misperceptions of people with visual impairment, like of a certain group of people. They start to assume a lot of things that we cannot do. We can do, like, no, mostly we cannot do. There there are some that, like there's some that some of us can do to much greater degrees, like like one of them is like heightened senses. Yes, I've seen people saying that no, our senses are not heightened. I beg to differ. I really, really beg to differ. If you must know, I can actually hear was it 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz that the human ears can hear. This was tested upon me at the University of Leeds. In my left ear, I can hear slightly below 20 hertz. Like every time the person pressed a button to generate the sound below 20 hertz, every time 100% accuracy. I said I could hear on my left ear. Okay, but that is another topic. That is completely another topic. But what happens with awareness? Perception. Once you have misperceptions, it leads to mistreatment at times. And not at times, many times it leads to mistreatment. And due to the lack of awareness, you also have lack of knowledge, lack of proper knowledge, and lack of procedural knowledge, lack of, you know, lack of procedure, and even you could say lack of psychological knowledge. Okay, I was just reading an article today. Like apparently, very few people have actually talked about the psychological states, like and associated that with like things like socio demographic status and whatnot, and like a few other variables. Yeah, and we're in 2019. No, that was a 2018 article, by the way. Okay, I'm gonna put a link in the description section below. Okay, this is from the American Foundation for the Blind. Okay, the American Foundation for the Blind, and I believe it's from 2006 or 2007. This is pretty old. Okay, it highlights what they see as the problems with the whole research faculty or the whole research area for people with low vision and blindness. Okay, just have a look at it and just try and see how much a lack of awareness, like it's not stated in that, but that was something that struck me a lot. Had like had the challenges and the triumphs been much more highlighted of people with visual impairments like 10 years prior to that report or 15, 20 years prior to that report, in a much higher frequency, people would most likely get much more interested, and the knowledge, the content knowledge, the domain, the knowledge domain for people with visual impairment would grow. And once knowledge grows, people can build upon his existing knowledge and and add and add to that, like in terms of innovations, technology, you name it, solutions, you name it. Not only one country, throughout the world. So, and awareness, this is a much bigger problem. Let me end with this. Much bigger problem in the developing countries than it is in the first. I still like to say first world versus third world in the developed countries. And you know what? I'm going to use that term. In the third world countries, a much bigger problem in the third world countries than the first world countries. All right. Please let me know what, like, would you agree or disagree with this notion, and or would you like me to talk about any certain aspect of, like, the challenges for, the entire domain of the research for toward visual impairment and whatnot, and how the entire topic of visual impairment is approached in terms of solutions, in terms of like research and like yada yada yada. So, guys, just let me know, like, all your opinions and thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, hit that like and subscribe button. This is your boy, the Entertainment and Reside, the Bengal Dragon, signing out.